Play one shooter and you basically know the control scheme of every game in that genre. The same can be said about fighting games and MMORPGs, but sometimes there are games that mess with these conventions. The end result can be amazing, funny, and simply weird. Or you can think it's awful. Either way, let's take a look at 10 games that use controls in a weird and unique way.
Don't worry, we're here for you.
Keyboard Sports is a game that positions itself as a final tribute to the keyboard before it becomes extinct and gets completely replaced by the controller. Of course, this is a joke, but the gameplay of Keyboard Sports certainly is unique. The levels on screen are built on a virtual representation of your keyboard, and the game character will walk to the key you press. This way, you need to avoid obstacles and enemies, remove objects, or keep a moving platform in balance. It's unique, at times frustrating, but very easy to understand. By now, you also understand that Keyboard Sports is actually not a sports game, but more like an adventure game. We played this one at Gamescom 2017 and can't wait for its release in early 2018. Our second entry for this list is a game that's meant to be played with a controller. Snake Pass is a 3D platform adventure in which you control a snake. This is not your regular 3D adventure game like Crash Bandicoot or Super Mario. In Snake Pass, you use the analog sticks for camera position and movement direction, while the right trigger is all about moving forward. The A or cross button will make you lift your head, and then there's the left trigger to clamp down on your position. Snake Pass is a game that moved away from video game conventions, and it sure requires some time to learn the controls for this game. But it really fits and it gives the game a unique feel. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons is already a couple of years old, but this game still offers a unique experience. In this top-down adventure game, you get to control two brothers at the same time. The big brother is controlled with the left stick and the smaller one with the right stick. The same split has been made with the triggers, where each side corresponds to one of the brothers. In this concept, it's not so much the controls that are new, but how your input translates into the game. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons is a single-player game in which you control two characters at the same time. Basically, it's a single-player co-op game, and that makes these controls unique. Octodad is one of those games that became a hit just because of its quirkiness. You get to play an octopus who is undercover as an everyday dad, and this means that even the most mundane task can become a challenge. Octodad is a third-person action puzzle game in which each button of your controller corresponds to one of his tentacles. And that's how you are supposed to move this undercover sea creature around. Octodad is one of those fumblecore games in which the controls are meant to feel extra clumsy to use. The game has won many awards over the years and features a co-op mode that allows you and your friends to control one tentacle each. You can imagine only true friendship will be able to overcome that hurdle.
Kids, have you seen your father?
And when you're talking about hurdles in a video about games with weird control schemes, of course we have to mention Coop. Basically, every other game uses directional controls to move forward, and often there's another button to make a character run. The 2008 quirky browser game Coop decided to do things differently. You need to make a runner run as far as possible. Q and W move one thigh forward and the other backwards, while O and P bend the knee and extend the other knee. What happens next is something that kinda resembles running, but is not quite the same thing. It's not without reason that Coop is considered the mother of the fumblecore genre. There are many games from Goichi Suda that can be considered weird or half-weird elements. In this case, we'd like to talk about the classic action game Killer 7. This game is basically an on-rails shooter, but instead of moving forward with the D-pad or an analog stick, you had to use an action button to move forward and another action button to decline an action or move backwards. The analog sticks were used for aiming your weapon or selecting a choice, but had very little to do with directional movement we normally associate the two sticks with. Of course, this is partially because of the type of game Killer 7 is, and the rest of the reasons come down to the crazy mind of Suda51. Press a button to move forward. That's just weird. By selecting Loco Loco, we take a trip down memory lane, as this game was released on Sony's first handheld system, the PSP. Yes, thankfully the game saw a re-release this year on the PS4, so its legacy will carry on. In Loco Loco, you need to guide a yellow blob to its end goal while saving other blobs and becoming a bigger blob along the way. In any other game, you would move the blob around the level, but in Loco Loco, you are moving the level to make the blob roll. The only thing you influence directly is jumping. The rest of the game, you are tilting the levels in order to maneuver our friendly yellow hero through the levels, past many dangers, and towards safety. The unique control scheme is part of what makes Loco Loco such a joy to play, so be sure to check this one out. Third-person adventures are expected to be played in a certain way, but Ubisoft's Grow Home does things completely different. Or wrong, depending on who you're talking to. In Grow Home, exploration is an important part of the game, and you explore a lot by climbing and growing vines. You hold on to objects using the shoulder buttons, and each button corresponds to a hand. So while climbing, you always need to keep one hand attached to the surface or you will fall. In short, you need to move one hand followed by the other. It's a simple and original mechanic that adds to the fun of exploration. Perhaps it's something Ubisoft should consider for Assassin's Creed, where climbing anything is possible by just holding a button and pressing up. If we talk about games that use classic controllers in a weird way, we have to talk about the works of Bossa Studios. This studio has been working on Fumblecore games for years now. It all started with Surgeon Simulator a few years back. In this game, you control the individual fingers of a surgeon using the spacebar, A, W, E, and R keys. Combine that with mouse controls and you need to move the hand, turn your wrist, and grab all kinds of utensils in the hope of not letting your patient die a horrible death. In the end, Surgeon Simulator is not that much about succeeding, but about having fun with these weird-ass controls. Let's just say that we are happy to see that WASD is still the primary button combination for many PC games. When we talk about Bossa Studios, we also shouldn't forget that hit game about bread. I Am Bread is best played with a controller. You play as a slice of bread that wants to get toasted. To reach your goal, you need to swing around the level. 4 buttons on your controllers correspond each with a corner of the slice of bread. Holding it will make it grip to a surface. There are some clear similarities with that other game from Bossa Studios here, but the way you apply these controls is clearly different. I Am Bread gets hard because you're not allowed to fall on the floor and the amount of grip on your slice of bread is limited. So time is of the essence. It's really one of those games you connect with or you don't. There's no real in-between here. There you have it, 10 games that change conventional controls into something unique. The result is sometimes a bit weird and it might be something not everybody enjoys, but it does give these games a unique twist. Have you played any of these games, and what did you think of the controls? Or did you play any other games that have weird control schemes? Let us know. You can also follow us on social media. We are active on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And guess what? We have our very own Discord channel. Let's have a chat there. See you next time.